Wagwan y'all, it's Dimz. And not so recently, Rivals 2 had announced their 9th base roster character for Rivals 2, which turned out to be Loxodont. They announced him at Genesis 10 this year, and since his announcement trailer, he has been made playable on any build that is brought to any event by the Aether Studios. Now obviously his announcement was a little bit of a surprise to me, because from my other videos, I hypothesized that the 9th character or one of the base roster characters was going to be Artemis instead of Loxodont. I figured that Loxodont would probably come in maybe 6 months or a year after the game came out, maybe to coincide with the release of the story mode or his part in the story mode. Since lore-wise, our heroes actually have not made it to fight Loxodont just yet. They are still fighting the Void, and Aether Studios had let us know that the story modes will be coming out in different parts. From what we can see, part 1 is mostly focused on the Void. And because the part 1 is not going to be available at launch, I figure it's going to take some time, so that's why I just assumed Loxodont will be playable when he's close to being released in the story mode. However, it looks like I was wrong. So it looks like Loxodont is going to be a base roster character. You can look up videos of him and see him in action, and personally, he doesn't look that good to me. Not like design wise or animation wise, those are fantastic, but he doesn't seem to be a very strong character. He seems like one of those characters that once people learn how to play the game, they won't be losing to him at all. But that's besides the point of this video, because in this video I want to talk about, well, since Loxodont got in and Artemis is not, and they're basically kind of the same characters in the way that they use both the same weapons, are the same element, and actually represents the exact same faction, is there any point of even having Artemis anymore? Did Loxodont just ruin Artemis' chances of getting in? So I thought about it, and no. Well, actually, I think Loxo might have increased Artemis' chances of getting in because of a thing called Echo Fighters. Now, if you know anything about fighting games, Echo Fighters or clone characters is nothing new to you. But just in case you are, an Echo Fighter is a character that is similar to another character who basically reuses some of their assets to make another character. So think about your Ryu and your Kens, your Fox and your Falcos, and your Milia and your Philias. Characters like this usually are easier to do for developers and take little to no development time because they're just remixing or reusing other people's movesets. They're not making a whole character from scratch. So, in this video, I would like for you to sit back, relax, and let me pitch to you how Artemis can be a part of the Rivals 2 roster while using the basis of Loxodont's moveset. So, first things first, since this is an Echo Fighter, I will mostly be talking about what's going to be different between them. If I don't mention it, assume it's the exact same as Loxodont. Let's first talk about the hurtbox. Loxodont is a big elephant, so he is wider. Artemis is not a big elephant, so she has a smaller hurtbox. Now let's talk about the differences in the character stats. To put it simply, I want Artemis to have less weight than Loxodont. I want her to have more airspeed than Loxodont, but at the same time I want her to have more gravity, to the point where she is a fast faller. Lastly, I generally want Artemis to do less % damage than Loxodont. Now, if they do some kind of knockback calculation where it's tied to the % damage, then so be it, she can have less knockback too, because later in the video we're going to talk about why I want this. Well, that's going to cover all the character attributes for the difference of the characters. Now we're going to talk about the move differences. Now I want you to sit tight with me and actually keep an open mind, because I'm going to be throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and to see what sticks. But at the same time, a lot of the things I'm going to say might sound broken, but it is not as broken as you think it sounds. I'm just explaining the moves. I mean, heck, if I explain all the moves that Maple can do, she's going to sound broken when she's not. So bear with me. So, what moves am I going to change? Really? Not much. The only moves I'm going to change is the specials and also the passives. So that means all her normals, all her tilts, Everything else that's like that, that's not a special, is going to be identical to Loxodont. Let's start off with her main passive, Sovereign's Rage. It's basically just rage, but not as crazy as Lucario's. In Artemis's debut game, Dungeons of Aether, she basically got more bonuses the less health she had. So translating that to fighting games, the closer she is to defeat, or I guess the higher her percent is, the more bonuses she's going to receive. But not to complicate things, we're just going to make it a little bit more simpler, and we're going to give her 3 tiers of rage. The 3 tiers of rage that she's in will be visually represented somewhere around her HUD element with either a icon or just a bar. From 0% to 49%, she's just in tier 1, which is just her as a base character. From 50% to 99%, she'll be in tier 2. When she enters tier 2, she will get an increase to her percentage damage, just generally. And if that affects her knockback scaling, then she'll just get increased knockback from tier 2 and beyond. This damage increase will either put her on par or just below Loxodont's base damage. And for tier 3, which is 100% and beyond, she will get a ground movement speed increase. Next, we're going to talk about Artemis's second passive, Burning Shield. This is going to be based off one of her moves in Dungeons of Aether called Burn. Basically, whenever she's in tier 3 of Rage, she gets a Burning Shield whenever she guards. And if the opponent hits her shield with any physical contact move, they will be set on fire. Now, this won't incur any hit stun on them, or this won't make them flinch. They'll just be set on fire, just like how Zetaburn can set people on fire. Rivals of Aether and Rivals of Aether 2 is just full of people having their own little status effects here and there. But it's so weird that they never reuse status effects. I mean, I guess I understand why Zetaburn is the only fire person that can burn people, since everyone else in the Fire Nation or in the Fire Element uses plasma, explosives, or even smoke. But Artemis can do some fire stuff. So let's give her some status effects that she can affect the opponent with. So yeah, you hit her shield while she's in tier 3 rage. Enjoy your 5% damage over time. Now let's talk about Artemis's third passive. Yes, we are not done yet. So her third passive is Molten Regeneration. Obviously another nod to Dungeons of Aether. Basically, whenever Artemis parries a move, she'll heal from it. The amount of percentage healed is going to be based on the damage of the move that Artemis parries and what tier of rage she's in. So let's just throw a hypothetical scenario. Let's say Artemis parries a down tilt that does 5%. Okay, so we want her to heal maybe half of that. So let's say she heals 2.5%. Rivals 2, I don't think they use percentages, so let's round down and says she's going to heal 2%. Now let's multiply how much she would heal by what tier of rage she's in. So if she's in tier 1 rage, she's just going to heal 2%. If she's in tier 2, 2 times 2, that's 4, she's going to heal 4%. And if she's in tier 3, she's going to heal 6%. Let's just do something like that. This would encourage the Artemis player to maybe parry more than they shield, which is very risky when your main defensive option in this game is to shield. If you opt to parry, you're going to miss more times than not, and if you miss, you might get punished way more than if you just chose to shield. It's a good risk-reward balance. Alright, we're done with the passives. Let's get on to the normal special moves. Let's start with side special, and also I'm sorry I don't have names for all of them. Artemis's side special is going to be sort of like Fox and Falco's Illusion, or their side B, except a little different. Well, first thing that's different is there's a bit of startup before she's able to launch herself. You can really compare it to Junker Queen's ultimate from Overwatch, how she spins her staff first then goes forward. For Artemis, she starts spinning her axe behind her and then it catches on fire. Now when you first initiate this move, Artemis will gain 2%. And then you can actually just continuously hold special, and every 10 frames it's being held, she will gain 2 more percent. So basically she gains percent the longer she holds it, but also it gains power the longer you hold it. You can hold it indefinitely, and there is a point where if you hold it so long that it just becomes an insta-kill. In reality, no one's going to just let you hold it that long, but the fact that you could, that'll be funny. The way this move hits is basically like Fox and Falco's illusion, so if you get hit by it, you get popped upward. But if she does it while mid-air, she will actually spike you downward if you get hit by it. Even if your character is already on the ground, you'll just get hit with a grounded spike. Also, if you start this move in mid-air, it will stall Artemis's descent. So if you ever want to mix up your landing or, fall a little slower, you can just start up this move and it'll slow her down. The next thing about this move is, as she's charging her side special, the twirl or the spin of the axe is a hitbox. It does vacuum people in if they're behind her, but just a little bit. You can easily DI out of it. Think of it like Corrin's forward smash, how when they charge it up, it has a hitbox. That's basically, it's going to be a hitbox on hers as well. Even though the axe is on fire when she twirls it, this move does not set you on fire or set the opponent on fire. One thing you can do with this move during the charge is that you can cancel this move with any shield action. So you can cancel this move into shield, you can cancel this move into parry, and you can cancel this move into spot dodge or air dodge if you're in the air. Artemis will still keep the percent that she gained even if she cancels the move though. So now when you let go of the charge of the move and she actually travels across the stage, like I said, think of it like Fox and Falco's illusion, specifically melees or even smash 4s, to the point where if the opponent shields this attack, she will still go through the opponent. But if the opponent parries this attack, she will stop right in front of the opponent in the parried state. So 2 more quirks about this move. When you use the actual move, it doesn't really have a hitbox behind her. So if the opponent is trapped in her, let's say, axe twirl while she's charging it up, if you let go and do the real attack of the move, most likely it's not going to hit them. The second quirk about this move is if you use this move on an opponent that is ignited or on fire, instead of launching them, it will set that opponent into a severe crumple state. That crumple state is your reward for attacking that opponent with this move while they're on fire, so you can, follow up with anything else after that. However, if an opponent is hit by this while on fire but mid-air, they will not enter the crumple state. The purpose of this move inside of Artemis's kit is so that she can be able to gain percent really quickly if she wants to, so she can put herself in different tiers of rage. Also, so that she has a mix-up tool if she wants to fake that she wants to attack an opponent or not. And lastly, this is mainly going to be her main source of her recovery. So now let's move on to down special. Down special is basically Byleth from Smash Ultimate. Just imagine it exactly the same, except let's make a few tweaks to it. Under the assumption that it's also going to be like 61 frames of startup, after frame 10, the Artemis player is able to turn it around, just like a Falcon Punch. The only difference is they can do this indefinitely. As long as it doesn't pass frame 40, they can just keep turning it around. After frame 40, then they have to commit to the direction that they're facing for the attack. The first quirk with this move is that frame 1, it has 1 hit of super armor. This means the Artemis player can absorb any 1 hit from any attack while charging up this move. After her super armor is depleted, she still needs to take a hit from a move with decent knockback to knock her out of her down special charge up. This means moves like Raster's Tornado Throw, Rano's Poison Needles, or even just first hit of most people's jabs won't knock her out of the charge up of down special even if she does not have super armor. It has to be a move with decent knockback, like an up tilt, a down tilt, or even a forward tilt. Or you could just run the risk of running up and grabbing her. The second quirk to this move is that if she turns it around at all, she gets a power boost to this move, just like a Falcon Punch. And just like a Falcon Punch, you're only going to get 1 power boost. So it doesn't matter if you spin 20 times, you just need to spin once and you get the power boost, that's it. An additional quirk to this move is that if she is in tier 3 rage, instead of getting 1 hit of super armor, she'll get 20% of hyper armor. Basically, she has to take a combination of 20% damage from any source or any combination of sources to be knocked out of this move or knocked out of the charge up. After the final frame of her startup and she's actually swinging the axe, she will lose all super armor or hyper armor even if it wasn't depleted during the startup. She just doesn't have it during the swing of her axe. This means if you want to take this opportunity to try to attack her, be my guest. Just like Byleth in Smash Ultimate, if you get hit by this move or if you shield this move, it's still going to do immense damage. However, after the startup and during the overhead swing of her axe, there's actually going to be a grab box on it. So if anyone is foolish enough to try to jump over you, this grab box will grab the character and lead them into the hit of the down special. However, it will be the sour spot of the down special. This will be the only way for someone to get hit by the sour spot or the weakened hit of this down special, is if they are grabbed into it by the grab box when she does her overhead swing of the down special. So let's say the raw hit does 30%. If you get grabbed into it by the grab box into the hit, you're probably only going to take 20%. So, big power downgrade, but it's still good if you're like under a platform and do down special. You'll probably grab someone who's on the platform and lead them into the big hit. That's still 20% they're taking. So the aerial version of this move, Artemis does a similar charge up, but when she activates, she starts spinning around kind of like Inquisitor in DNF Duel. Kind of like this. So she's going to be spinning around, and this whole spin is a hit grab. So if anyone gets hit by this, they'll be grabbed into the spin and they're going to be taken with Artemis until she either hits the ground or maybe even fall off stage. Obviously, this is a less deadly version than her doing this move on the ground, but it's still damage and it's still one way to mix up your landing. But like I said, it's a hit grab, so you can shield it, you can parry it. But if you're ever caught in the air with her, you can't really shield in the air, so you might get grabbed. During the aerial startup of this move, she can grab ledge with the startup frames, but during the activation when she's spinning around, she cannot grab ledge. Last but not least, if the enemy is on fire and gets hit by the grounded raw version of the down special, it's gonna be as if they got hit by a 9-hammer. Now, if they get hit by the ground grab version or the aerial grab version, they will take increased damage, but not as devastating as the raw hit. Alright, let's do a quick and easy one. Her up special is going to be Roy's up B from Smash Ultimate. It's just going to be Roy's Blazer. She does the motion and she sets people on fire if they get hit by it. Simple and done with. And obviously if she's set up in a certain scenario, she can kill with it, but this is not her main kill option. Now we're going to talk about Artemis's neutral special. Basically, it's going to be Saurus's Muscle Fury from Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So here's the deal. Artemis will assume a stance and she will beckon the opponent to come attack her. And when she's in this stance, she will power through any move or any attack that's thrown her way. We're going to call her neutral special Engage. So during Engage, she will armor through any attack, any special. The only thing that Engage doesn't stop will be grabs and maybe unblockables if it's in the game. Any move that she armors through while using Engage, she'll receive half the damage than normal. So if a down tilt does 7% damage and she engages through it, she'll only receive 3%. This stance does not last long. If you just press it, it'll probably last for about 20 frames. But you can hold down the neutral special button and make it last to up to 120 frames. But at any time after the 20th frame, you can just let go of the button and she'll just drop the stance. Or conversely, she can hit her normal button, or I guess the A button, and she will do a retaliation attack, which I will call Engage Fury. This will be the same thing as Saurus's reactive muscles, or I guess Incineroar's counter activation, or revenge activation. She will do another pose and blow back anyone around her that's not blocking. Also, she will ignite them and set them on fire. I want to say on hit, she's able to jump cancel it, but on block, she's not able to do anything. And on whiff, I want it to be really, really negative. The purpose of this move on Artemis's kit is so that she is able to bait people to approach her if they're playing far away, or if they are smothering her, this is a great get off me option for her. Also, you cannot use this move while you're in the air. I'm not sure what your neutral special is going to do when you're in the air, but you can't use this. Alright, so let's quickly do the rest of the remaining specials. Her special from the ledge is going to be exactly like Loxodon's, except she's not going to make the little lava pits, obviously. Her wake up special is going to be the weakest version, or the weaker version of Loxodon's, except she sets you on fire if she hits you with it. And lastly, her grab special. Her grab special, she is going to yell at the opponent. We're going to call this command. When she yells at the opponent will be inflicted by a threatened or a fear status. This status reduces the maximum shield health for her opponent down to half. So their maximum shield health will be half the original size for the next 7 in-game seconds. And with that, I think I'm done. So, the way I'm trying to depict Artemis is the way that I felt like she was depicted to me from Dungeons of Aether. She loves battle. She thrives off of it. She just yearns for it. She always wants to be in the scrap of battle, and she benefits from it. But at the same time, she's very risky, having to play along the razor's edge so she can get all her benefits while being in such high danger, having to fish for parries so she can stay in battle longer, or just trying to armor through everything and set her opponents on fire, knowing that in this war of attrition that she's going to outlast them as they just tick away or burn away from chip damage and chip damage while she just gets stronger and stronger. That is the Artemis that I want to see in Rivals of Aether. And I hope that this idea of making her an Echo Fighter really helps her chances of appearing in the roster. Maybe sooner than later, since, hey, less development time if she's just a spin-off of another existing character, right? So like I said before, I had a lot of ideas and I threw a lot against the wall. If for any reason someone from Aether Studios looks at this and kind of thinks it over and maybe takes a few of my ideas, that's fine. If they take them all, that's awesome too. Because I don't think everything's gonna stick, because I did write a lot about her, but I feel like it's all pretty damn cool. And that's the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my mock-up of what I think Artemis could be as an Echo Fighter in Rivals 2. Tell me if you actually like the idea of Artemis being an Echo Fighter, or if you think that she has enough material to warrant her being her own separate character from scratch, despite having so many similarities with Loxodon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also subscribe to stay tuned as I continue to make more videos not only about Rivals 2, but fighting games and other things in general. I hope you all have a good one.